August 20th, 2017, in downtown Ottawa, Illinois, 50 rival bikers clashed in broad daylight, turning the street into a war zone caught on drone footage. The police response was swift, but what happened next shocked even seasoned officers. These are the craziest gang fights ever caught on camera.
A new video released in the violent showdown between biker gangs in Waco that ended in 9 deaths. Authorities still trying to figure out what caused the deadly chaos.
May 17th, 2015, at Twin Peaks Restaurant, Waco, Texas. What began as a tense gathering of rival biker clubs quickly spiraled into one of the deadliest biker shootouts in American history. The chaos would leave 9 dead, 18 wounded, and 107 arrested in a single afternoon. The Bandidos and Cossacks motorcycle clubs had a long-standing rivalry that dated back decades. The Bandidos, Texas's dominant club, had strict rules about territorial claims, especially regarding who could wear the coveted Texas patch on their vests. The Cossacks, once considered regional upstarts, began challenging that dominance by openly wearing the Texas patch and refusing to pay Bandidos territorial dues. Tensions had been simmering for months. In late 2014, the Bandidos allegedly beat a Cossack member at a charity event. Just a week later, a Ghost Riders MC member, an ally of the Cossacks, was killed in Fort Worth. Small skirmishes kept erupting across Texas, each incident ratcheting up the stakes and the sense that something bigger was coming. The Texas Confederation of Clubs and Independents, COC&I, scheduled a regional meeting at Twin Peaks in Waco. The Bandidos, as leading members of COC&I, saw this as their territory. But the Cossacks, who weren't official members of the coalition, decided to show up anyway, an act the Bandidos viewed as a direct challenge. Police intelligence units were well aware of the brewing tensions. 18 Waco police officers and 4 Texas Highway Patrol troopers positioned themselves nearby, monitoring the situation from outside the restaurant. But all their preparation couldn't prevent what came next. Shortly after noon, a confrontation erupted in the parking lot, allegedly over a simple parking space dispute. A Bandido president and a Cossack exchanged words. When another Bandido stepped forward to defend his club leader, he was punched in the face and then shot through the arm and chest. That single gunshot was the match to a powder keg. Within seconds, chaos exploded. Security cameras caught the panic as people dove behind tables and rushed for exits, desperately trying to escape the crossfire. Police immediately activated active shooter protocols. Snipers positioned outside had clear lines of sight and began targeting bikers they identified as active shooters. The gunfire was intense. Witnesses say the main exchange lasted barely 90 seconds, though it seemed like an eternity as bullets flew.
The whole incident probably didn't last more than 90 seconds. It seemed like an hour when you're laying there and people are getting shot around you and bullets were whizzing by you.
The restaurant floor was chaotic. Bodies, wounded bikers, abandoned weapons, and shell casings scattered everywhere. Police quickly secured the scene, separating survivors, collecting evidence, and preparing for what would have become one of the largest mass arrests in Texas history. When the smoke cleared, the toll was staggering. 9 bikers lay dead, 6 Cossacks, 1 Bandido, 1 scimitar who was a Cossack's ally, and 1 bystander. 18 more were hospitalized with injuries ranging from gunshot wounds to blunt force trauma. Police recovered over 320 weapons from the scene, including handguns, knives, clubs, brass knuckles, and even a Kalashnikov rifle found in a locked car. The sheer arsenal confirmed law enforcement's fears that this was never meant to be a peaceful gathering.
This is the wild video from last May inside the Twin Peaks restaurant in Waco as the gun battle erupted outside in the parking lot.
But the most shocking number was the arrests. 177 bikers taken into custody that day, all charged with engaging in organized criminal activity. Justice of the peace. Pete Peterson set each bond at $1 million, stating,
We had 9 people killed in our community. These people just came in, and most of them were from out of town.
The mass arrest triggered a legal quagmire. Defense attorneys immediately challenged the fill-in-the-name warrants, arguing there was no individual probable cause. The $1 million bonds kept most suspects jailed for weeks. Over 140 remained behind bars 2 weeks after the incident. The jail system faced a logistical nightmare, needing to separate rival gang members while processing the massive influx of detainees. Public defenders from across Texas were called in to handle the caseload, overwhelming the local court system.
Defense attorneys that we've already spoken with over the last couple of hours lashing out at these sweeping indictments.
As the legal battles raged, the broader biker community rallied around those arrested. Over 500 bikers protested outside the McLennan County Courthouse, demanding justice and criticizing what they saw as indiscriminate mass arrests. And the restaurant chain immediately felt the consequences. Twin Peaks corporate revoked the Waco franchise, accusing local management of ignoring police warnings and failing to maintain security standards. The nearby Don Carlos Mexican restaurant sued for damages after being forced to close during the investigation. The seized motorcycles, over 135 of them, became a point of contention. Civil forfeiture laws allowed the county to potentially auction them, regardless of the owner's guilt or innocence. The financial impact on many bikers was devastating. As weeks turned to months, criticism of the police handling grew louder. Civil rights lawyers pointed out that arresting 107 people on identical charges smacked of Red Scare tactics. The lack of transparency about which bikers were shot by police fueled suspicion.
I think you can see by the number of weapons that we have recovered from here today, they didn't come here to eat and have a good time with their family. They came here for a reason. We think part of that reason was a criminal activity.
Waco officials tried to withhold public records from the media, citing ongoing investigations. The city attorney even requested special permission from the state attorney general to keep details secret. Journalists and legal experts criticized this as game playing by public officials. The only one of the 177 arrested bikers to face trial was Jake Carrizal, president of the Dallas Bandidos chapter. His trial ended in a mistrial after jurors deadlocked. By 2019, all criminal charges were dropped against the remaining defendants.
They just stood around up and arrested everybody before they determined who was involved.
More than 130 federal civil rights lawsuits remain pending against former district attorney Abel Reyna, Waco's former police chief, the city of Waco, McLennan County, and state officers involved in the mass arrests. The legal battles continue to this day.
A hidden surveillance camera records gang warfare in a pool hall in El Monte, California. Keep your eye on the 2 men circled, members of rival Asian gangs.
It's a typical Friday night at a local pool hall in El Monte, California. Patrons shoot pool, share laughs, and enjoy their evening. Nobody suspects what's about to unfold. This isn't just another hangout spot. It's a known gathering place for the Asian boys gang, and tension is about to boil over. Leah Mek, better known as Kicker, is just 18 years old. Born in Cambodia, his family fled the Khmer Rouge and settled in Los Angeles. He quickly fell in with the Asian Boys, one of the city's most notorious Asian American gangs. Mek was known for carrying a .45 caliber pistol and boasting about his gang ties wherever he went.
Keep your eye on the 2 men circled, members of rival Asian gangs.
That night, around 20 watching gang members entered the hall. It's clear from the surveillance footage. Mek starts mad-dogging them. He stares down the rival gang members, flashes his pistol, and boasts loudly. Some watching members leave, but several remain, watching Mek intently as he continues to taunt them. The tension escalates quickly. Mek turns his back for just a moment, and that's when 19-year-old Xiao Luong Yang, known as China Dog, makes his move. Yang grabs Mek, wrestling him to the ground. Other watching members join in, dragging Mek toward the exit. The pool hall erupts into chaos.
He's taken down and dragged against his will outside the pool hall.
Asian Boys members try to help Mek, attacking with pool cues. One even attempts to fire a pistol, but it jams. With Mek pinned down, Yang manages to wrestle away his gun. Suddenly, another watching member bursts in, firing a pistol. People scramble for cover behind pool tables as the violence explodes. Outside, Mek breaks free and tries to tackle Yang, but fails. He sprints back inside, desperate for cover, diving behind a pool table while Yang, now armed with Mek's own gun, follows him in.
Escape, but is chased and shot down by the rival gang member.
Mek is shot 5 times in the body. He collapses behind the pool table, wounded, but still alive. Yang approaches and fires 2 point-blank shots into Mek's head, and the pool hall falls silent as Yang flees the scene. El Monte police officer Greg Carroll arrives first on the scene. The hall still reeks of gunpowder. Dozens of patrons, many just kids, are still hiding behind pool tables in shock. The entire incident is captured by surveillance cameras. Yang is quickly identified from the footage and later arrested. He was sentenced to life in prison for Mek's murder, but paroled in 2020. The other shooter received 10 years after pleading guilty. But the violence doesn't end here. Mek's murder ignites a bloody feud between the Asian Boys and Hua Qing. Authorities link this single incident to 10 more murders in the Los Angeles area. 6 months later, the Asian Boys retaliate with a drive-by shooting at a San Marino High School graduation party, killing 2 more youths. This pool hall shooting became one of the most infamous gang murders in Los Angeles history. It's featured in multiple documentaries, as well as many true crime series.
One of the more famous cases is the death of Khalif Browder, a 22-year-old who spent 3 years in Rikers, most of it in solitary confinement, without ever being convicted of a crime.
The day began like any other in the youth wing of Rikers Island. This section of the notorious jail was supposed to be a place for juvenile offenders, but it operated under a different set of rules. Unwritten rules, enforced not by the officers, but by the gangs that ran each housing unit. Khalif Browder, just 16 years old, found himself caught in this dangerous web. He wasn't affiliated with any gang. That alone made him a target. In Rikers, being neutral is equal to vulnerability. The gang-controlled units were more reminiscent of Lord of the Flies than any legitimate philosophy of humane detention. Life in this unit was a daily test of survival. Every interaction carried the potential for violence. The gangs watched for any sign of weakness, any excuse to assert dominance. For Browder, refusing to join a gang was a constant challenge to their authority, and they responded accordingly. October 2010. A gang member spat in Browder's face, and that day he chose to stand his ground, even though he knew the consequences. What followed was a calculated assault. Around 10 gang members attacked him all at once. And the security cameras captured every brutal second. It wasn't just about punishing Browder. It was about sending a message to anyone else who might resist gang control. At that moment, the true power structure of Rikers Island became clear. The gangs ran the units while officers either looked the other way or were powerless to intervene. For young inmates like Browder, there was no escape from this violent hierarchy. The aftermath of the gang attack revealed the system's failure. Instead of protection, Browder faced more abuse from those supposed to keep him safe. The cycle of violence continued, unchecked and unpunished.
His mother says he was emotionally and psychologically wrecked by the experience.
It's not one person, it's a whole system.
While Browder's story would have become a catalyst for reform, he was far from the only victim. The gang-controlled units at Rikers had claimed countless lives and futures, but his refusal to break, his choice to fight back, would spark a movement that challenged the entire system.
In 2002, a fight between the Mongols biker gang and the Hells Angels biker gang led to the deaths of 3 people inside the Harrah's casino.
April 27, 2002, the annual Laughlin River Run was roaring through its usual wild weekend, but the party atmosphere inside Harrah's casino shattered in seconds. What happened next would change biker rallies forever. The Laughlin River Run, held every spring in this small Nevada town, had grown into one of the West's premier motorcycle rallies. Tens of thousands of riders descended on Laughlin's casinos, filling hotel rooms, lining the streets with chrome, and creating an economic boom for the desert town. By 2002, it had become a major event on the biker calendar. But that year's rally was different from the start. Tensions between the Mongols and Hells Angels, 2 of the most notorious motorcycle clubs, had been simmering for months. Territory disputes, membership battles, and a string of escalating confrontations had turned their rivalry into open warfare. As the night wore on, a group of about 30 Hells Angels rode from the Flamingo Hotel to Harrah's, looking for Mongols. The casino was packed with 80,000 visitors from the rally. Security cameras captured what happened next, a confrontation that quickly drew a crowd.
When everything came out, a few of our buddies had some problems, and we just had to take care of things.
Gunshots echoed through the casino, sending gamblers diving for cover under tables and slot machines. Fistfights broke out everywhere. Several people were stabbed. Harrah's security cameras captured the violence from multiple angles, footage that police would later describe as horrific. In the chaos, 3 bikers lost their lives, 2 Mongols and 1 Hells Angel. More than a dozen others were wounded. Remarkably, no tourists or hotel employees were seriously hurt. But the panic was real, and the casino floor quickly became a crime scene.
I was down here at 2002 at the Harrah's. As a matter of fact, we were staying there, so they took my bike and I got locked up over there too for a while.
Ruben Ronquillo, a California biker who was staying at Harrah's that weekend, remembers the chaos vividly. The violence even followed the rally onto nearby highways. A 4th biker's body was found later that day on Interstate 40 in San Bernardino County. Police from 3 states flooded Laughlin, locking down highways and bridges to prevent more violence. The casino was closed, and the once bustling River Run suddenly became a ghost town. The economic impact was immediate and severe. Vendors packed up early, businesses closed, and the rally's future was suddenly in question.
After that, then everything started dying down, and now it seems like it's really going down, you know. There used to be a lot of vendors all the way up, and then even across in Bullhead City side, you know. I think it's more safer now.
Jeff Davis, another California biker, watched the once vibrant event start to fade. The violence scared away both participants and businesses, casting a long shadow over future rallies. But the River Run didn't die. Instead, it transformed.
I think it's more safer now. There's more police protection, you know, which I think is good.
When the following years saw a massive increase in police presence, at first it felt oppressive. More police and less fun, as one organizer put it. But over time, the balance shifted. The event found a way to be both safe and enjoyable.
The fight was captured on this drone footage. It shows what witnesses say was a brawl between rival biker gangs, the Hells Angels and the Outlaws.
August 20th, 2017. Just after 7:30 p.m., Ottawa, Illinois, usually a peaceful town, erupted in chaos as 2 notorious biker gangs, the Hells Angels and the Outlaws, clashed right in the middle of West Main Street. What began as an ordinary Sunday evening quickly spiraled into a full-blown street war, all captured by a nearby drone. The Hells Angels and the Outlaws are 2 of America's most infamous motorcycle clubs, known for their decades-long rivalry that stretches across the country. Both are considered one-percenter biker gangs, a term referring to the small fraction of motorcycle clubs involved in organized crime. The Hells Angels, founded in California in 1948, and the Outlaws, formed in Illinois back in 1935, have been at odds for generations. While their roots are in riding and brotherhood, both groups have been linked to violent turf wars, drug trafficking, and organized crime. Witness Nicholas Hefner was at a cafe with friends when the bikers began gathering. At first, it seemed like a normal Sunday scene, but as more and more motorcycles arrived, an uneasy tension grew.
Aggressively seeing more and more bikers coming into the area.
Hefner recalls seeing the groups giving each other hard looks and exchanging heated words. The two clubs had been traveling separately, but when their routes converged in Ottawa, old feuds reignited. According to witnesses, a member from one group made a disrespectful gesture, an act that started the violence. Suddenly, all hell broke loose. Fists flew, bikes were knocked over, and weapons appeared.
It was a brawl. I couldn't really keep my eyes on everybody, but and no gunshots or anything like that, but I heard there was a hammer used.
The fighting spilled into the street, drawing the attention of nearby businesses and passers-by. A drone operator from a nearby video company captured the violence from above, providing a bird's-eye view of the mayhem.
The fight was captured on this drone footage. It shows what witnesses say was a brawl between rival biker gangs, the Hells Angels, and the Outlaws.
The drone footage shows men swinging hammers, throwing punches, and using makeshift weapons.
Ottawa police say they recovered 2 handguns, multiple knives, and other weapons like brass knuckles.
Ottawa police responded almost immediately, using firm tactics to regain control. Officers drew their weapons, issued loud commands, and deployed mace to subdue the brawlers.
I heard the officers yelling, "Get down on the ground, get down on the ground," and I just seen them. I'm pretty sure they were macing them, or pointing a weapon or mace at them. And then you had people laying in the street.
With roughly 50 to 75 bikers involved, containing the violence was no easy task. Officers managed to subdue the fighters, forcing many to the ground. Evidence of the violence was everywhere. Motorcycles knocked over, broken glass on the street, and several injured men requiring medical attention. And when the dust settled, 4 men were arrested.
I saw a guy was bleeding and we called an ambulance, and he had a shirt over his head, and he was leaking pretty good.
39-year-old Christopher Tondini of Morris was charged with unlawfully altering his registration. 53-year-old Robert Thoman of Oak Forest was arrested on complaints of mob action and possessing brass knuckles, a broken glass bottle, and bringing a gun into a bar.
While only 4 were arrested, many more participated in the violence. Police recovered weapons, impounded several motorcycles, and collected evidence from the scene. The violence shocked Ottawa residents. Many were disturbed by the scale of the fight and the potential for innocent bystanders to be caught in the crossfire. Local businesses along West Main Street suffered damage, and there was a renewed focus on public safety in the area. The drone footage spread quickly on social media, bringing national attention to the small Illinois town. While biker gang violence wasn't new, seeing it play out in broad daylight on Main Street and caught so clearly on camera was a wake-up call. The arrested men faced various charges, with the most serious being mob action and assaulting a police officer. The cases went through the LaSalle County court system, drawing significant media attention. While some faced prison time, the larger message was clear. Law enforcement would not tolerate this level of gang violence, especially in public spaces. Despite the arrests, many questions remain. What sparked this specific confrontation? Who called for the meeting in Ottawa? And what has kept the peace since then? Law enforcement continues to monitor both clubs, knowing that their rivalry runs deep.
Adam, that is correct. Law enforcement officials say that the shooters are known gang members from Brooklyn with violent criminal histories. Police officers were right here on the block on West 38th Street when the shooting started.
July 7th, 2022, West 38th Street in Midtown Manhattan. The night air split by gunfire, right outside a downtown nightclub. Seconds later, 3 people lay wounded on the sidewalk. This is the Manhattan gang shootout, caught entirely on surveillance cameras. The chaos that unfolded would push even veteran officers to their limits. Ironically, police officers were already on the block when the shooting started. Their rapid response would prove critical in containing the violence. Security cameras caught it all.
Police officers seen on security video making arrests after 3 people were wounded in a gang shootout. This all happening Tuesday night around 10:30. The gunfire stemming from an altercation inside a venue rented for a rap music performance in Midtown. You can see 4 men who left the club walking towards another car. Police say 2 people inside the dark sedan get out and shoot the other men, who fire back.
3 victims, each badly wounded but alive, thanks to quick medical attention. A 37-year-old man was shot in the stomach, a 24-year-old hit in the chest, and a 19-year-old found blocks away, bleeding from a gunshot wound to the leg. The entire incident started with a simple altercation inside a 4th-floor club, rented out for a rap music performance. Tensions that had been simmering for months finally erupted, right in the heart of Manhattan. As the argument spilled onto the street, 4 men exited the club, heading toward a double-parked sedan. Suddenly, 2 individuals emerged from a nearby dark vehicle and opened fire. What happened next was pure chaos. Both groups exchanged gunfire across the busy street. Muzzle flashes lit up the night as bullets tore through the air, endangering not just the combatants, but everyone nearby. Witnesses later described being dragged into hallways for safety as the shooting erupted.
They just pulled them in the hallway. They pulled them in the hallway and told them to stay there.
These were mostly ordinary club-goers suddenly caught in the crossfire of a gang feud gone public. Police moved in quickly, weapons drawn. Their presence likely prevented an even greater tragedy. The shooters attempted to escape, but 3 were arrested almost immediately at the scene.
Police confirm a 37-year-old man was shot in the stomach and a 24-year-old shot in the chest.
The evidence trail left a little doubt about what happened that night. The investigation continued throughout the night. Police combed the 4th-floor club for evidence, while forensic teams documented every shell casing and bloodstain on the street below.
Police recovered 3 guns at the scene, arresting 3 men.
By dawn, the scene told a clear story. 3 suspects in custody, multiple weapons recovered, and 3 victims, miraculously expected to survive.
New video this morning shows a wild shootout last month in the Morrisania section of the Bronx. It happened
September 16th, 9:45 p.m. The Morrisania section of the Bronx erupts in chaos. 2 groups of men face off on East 169th Street. And what happens next is pure chaos. Morrisania was never quiet. Tension simmered for weeks between these 2 rival groups. Both sides claimed territory around East 169th Street. The block saw increasing confrontations, shoving matches, threats yelled across the street, and mounting bravado that could only lead one way.
At 9:45 p.m. on September 16th, police say that 2 groups of men faced off on East 169th Street and opened fire. Although multiple rounds were exchanged, there were no reports of any injuries.
What follows is sudden and violent. Gunfire erupts from both sides. Security cameras show people scrambling, 2 men falling to the ground as shots ring out into the night air. Some witnesses duck behind cars, others freeze in shock. Despite the danger and multiple rounds exchanged, something extraordinary happens. As the chaos subsides and the smoke clears, it becomes clear no one was seriously injured. It's a miracle considering the firepower unleashed on that crowded Bronx street. The NYPD quickly responds, flooding the scene with investigators and detectives. They review security footage from multiple angles, piecing together exactly what happened. The video evidence is clear, showing the faces of those involved.
There were no reports of any injuries. Police are hoping this video will help lead them to the shooters.
Police are quick to release the footage publicly, hoping someone will recognize the gunman. The security camera images are sharp, showing clear shots of several faces as they flee the scene. The NYPD appeals to the community for help, emphasizing that while no one was hurt this time, next time could be different. The video footage spreads quickly through local news and social media. People are shocked by the brazen violence and relieved that no innocent bystanders were caught in the crossfire. The investigation continues, with detectives following up on leads and analyzing every frame of the security footage. The NYPD's Crime Stoppers hotline is flooded with tips, some valuable, some not. But the video evidence is powerful. Clear faces, distinctive clothing, and a timeline of events all captured on multiple cameras.